Hi, Kiko.
Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Hi, Alexandra. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you? Of
Doing well. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it.
course.
So, the central character, Ben, in this film, of course, is non binary, and the film explores what happens when they are rejected by their conservative parents and must find support elsewhere. How important was it for you to participate in a story that elevates this non binary story?
I thought it was an incredibly important film. I was very impressed by Tommy and was just excited to tell what I thought was an interesting and well written story.
Now, when you read the script during production or pre-production, did you feel any responsibility around the portrayal of your character's ally role? How did you approach that? And then
Of
also,
course.
how do you define what an ally is for the LGBT community?
I think that it was an important story in that there's a simplicity in helping people, and I think that for me, I it's not hard to support people who are different than you. And there are people who are different in all different types of ways, not
Right.
just in the LGBTQ community. And I think it's about having compassion and about supporting people, especially young people, and helping them know that they are wonderful no matter who they want to be. And helping to guide them while letting them be free. And that's important. It's very important to take care of young people and make them feel good about who they are. And so I felt that that was a really wonderful role to play Hannah. And she's just a mother. And I felt very drawn to being a mother at the time I took the role. And I think that the most important role a mother can do is help guide children into happiness and feeling confident. And that's how you create confident and empathetic adults. So I felt that was her role.
Given the current climate on gender identity and LGBTQ rights, how do you think a film like this can serve as a bridge or a safe space for dialogue instead of just, the next movie or the next piece of entertainment?
I hope that people come away from this movie either feeling less alone or learning something about something they didn't understand. So it shouldn't be, I think, telling these stories are incredibly important. And I hope that people learn something.
Are there any particular scenes or moments in the film that you believe will resonate, especially strongly with the queer youth?
I think there's lots, yes. I think that the whole story is, I mean, you have a love story and it's also, I'm an older millennial, so there's parts of the movie that I think are very much relevant for Gen Z and very it's just a very cool movie. But I think that you get to see romance, and you get to also see someone be supported by parental figures. And I think not everyone has that. So being able to see that and say, oh, okay, that is something that can happen, and I'm not so alone, and there are people who want to support me. I think that that's a really wonderful thing to see on screen.
Overall in Hollywood, how do you think mainstream cinema and TV are doing in terms of representation of these non-binary identities with nuance and truth?
Oh, that's a hard question. I think that I think it's gotten a lot. There's a lot more stories like this than when I started in Hollywood 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Just like there's a lot more interesting roles for women, and there's a lot more female directors, and a lot has changed. But I don't know the statistics on that, or but I think it's getting better. I'm not exactly the right person to ask.
Just on face value, though, I guess you see a little bit of change at least, but
I
still a
do.
lot
I
of room
see
to grow.
change. I mean, I even see change just from a female perspective. I see change from when I first started out and was only meeting with male directors. There wasn't a female director that I ever, and now that's changed significantly. So that's
Awesome.
just from a female perspective. There's definitely been changes.
Talking to you from San Antonio, Texas, which is a very blue city in a very red state. So it's kind of interesting to live here. This past summer, the Texas legislature filed over 100 anti-trans bills through the session. 10 passed, including, defining what a man and a woman is and new requirements for medical records and insurance coverage, which is going to make it harder for transgender Texans to receive medical care. When you hear things like that happening in Texas and all over the country, what do you want to say to these mostly white cis men making these decisions in 2025?
Look, I think just as on a whole, the trans people I know have been some of the kindest people I've ever met in my life, and they are human beings, and I quite frankly am a bit disgusted by the way that trans people are feeling right now. It's not fair, and I don't understand the fear, and I guess we fear what we don't understand. So maybe that's where some of this is coming from, is from fear. But I think it's pretty. I feel very sad for my trans friends.
I'll make this my last question, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Mayfair. The announcement for season 3 of the show highlights a deeper dive into witch mythology. What excites you the most about exploring an expanded supernatural world?
I'm shooting the show right now. I think it's always fun doing supernatural stuff. There's always crazy stuff that can happen. You never know what's going to happen. And playing a witch is great fun. And there's a lot of really cool stuff happening this season. And I think the show is sexier and even more out there than last season. So we're going to have fun.
Hey, Alexandra, thank you so much for taking the time, and congratulations on the film. It was just a beautiful piece, and we can't wait to tell more people about it.
Thank you.